Hello, everyone. Hello. I hope we're enjoying ourselves. All right. My name is Yomi. I'm into international student recruitment. I'm also an international education consultant. By background, I studied in Nigeria, my first degree in Obafemi Awolowo University. My second degree was in the UK. And of course, I've done lots of short courses all over the world, in the US, even in Canada here as well. I speak to students almost every day. I speak to parents as well. During the course of my career, I think I've seen through more than maybe 2,000-3,000 students who have gone to study in UK, Canada, USA, and I have loads of them on my, digital space now that have become something, bankers, industrialists and everything. So, and I was once in the same scenario and the same boat that you were in some couple of years back as well. So I think I may be able to speak to you about certain things regard to how you prepare yourself for the workplace. Are we together, please? Yeah. Can I ask you one thing? I don't think I'm too old and I don't think I'm too young as well to request that we split ourselves a bit more. Can we have subgroups? I feel this group is too large. Can we have maybe probably 3 more people sit here, and then maybe probably just mix ourselves more so that we can engage more, so we can engage more with each other. Maybe that group can split and we can have 2-3 people here, and then let's just mix and match more, So thank you so much for doing that. Like I said, my topic is preparing youth for creativity and impact in the workplace. And like I said, my name is Yomi Asade. So the first thing I will ask you to do is that, I know we have our gadgets and everything, but one thing that I know that still works is the traditional writing things down. If you go to any forum, if you attend anything, even if it's just one thing you're able to jot down, you find out that it sticks with you longer than when you look at the whole note or the presentation, So just jot anything down, it will stick with you, and whoever knows, it might be just one word or one thing that can stick with you that would be able to have impact on you generally. I usually like to start by quoting a word from the Bible because I believe we all know that God exists, right? And we are all Christians, I believe. Even if we all know that at least there's a supreme being. So while you're young, from the Bible, the book of Timothy 4 verse 12 says, don't let anyone look down on you because you're young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. Let us always be an example unto others. Now, the state at which you are in, that you're going through just like any other part of the divide, any other part of the world, any other race, any other ethnic group, is quite unique. You have the whole world in front of you. You can make it whatever you need to make it, because this is a time for you to make an impact. I learned from my mentor early on in life. One thing that he told me that actually helped me to mold my life then was that now that you're young, you gather, because you have all the strength, you have everything it takes. Everything's like, this guy's wasting time, you're talking too much. Everything's like we want to move at a very fast pace. But, remember, that in itself is a strength. Use all that agility, all that, I don't have time, all that, use it to gather strength, And when you gather that strength, use it to do something very unique and build a future for yourself. Because there's an adult in everybody. There's an adult in everybody. That adult may be in the next 10 years, maybe in the next 15 years. Don't disappoint that adult at the end of the day. Because in the next 10 years, where will you be? We all will say that, oh, I don't know, I don't want to know. But you will all get there. Like sometimes when people ask you that, oh, I want to do professional courses. Oh, this is what I want to do. I say, well, whatever it is that you want to do it now. Because the time will pass anyway. Because, okay, I just want to sit around this year and see what you feel like. Maybe I will just do 1 or 2 courses. Whatever you want to do it now. Because the time will pass anyway if you don't do it. That time will pass. Time will not wait for you. So while you are on it, do it now. Because there's an adult in you. In the next 10, 20, 30 years, don't disappoint that adult. And that's one of the reasons why we're here. We all know that we've moved from the age of agricultural age to the industrial age to the information age. We are now in the information age. And that is where we're having the challenge as youth of nowadays. We have the Generation Z, the Generation Z, the baby boomers, all those ones, they were not in flux with as many information as we have nowadays, that the youth of nowadays are in flux with. And where the problem lies with the information is that there's too much of it that it doesn't make sense to us. We have too much information. And how do we make sense of that information? And that's the main challenge that the youth of this generation is faced with. The earlier, the better you're able to make sense of the information you are getting, the better and the more accelerated your pace in life. At the workplace, one of the things that is being emphasized by all employers all over the world are soft skills. Soft skills are skills that are innate, that are, that you develop, and employers of labor value these soft skills a lot. Some of the soft skills that employers of labor look for are creativity, collaboration. Now, the word collaboration means a lot. If you notice, I asked you to move around the table. Can I have your attention, please? Those people on the table there, are we together? Are we together? Let's try and be together. Okay. Thank you for that interruption. So let's move on with the soft skills that we're talking about. Some of the soft skills that are needed in today's workplace are creativity, collaboration, adaptability, decision-making, high emotional quotient, which is also linked with emotional intelligence, problem-solving, communication. Let me just pick one or two of them and discuss on them. For instance, one of the most important skills, in a workplace is problem solving. You can't be a problem solver and be jobless, even as a youth. You can't be a problem solver and nobody will want to come and look for you, no matter how young you are. Can't be a problem solver in IT and Google will not come and find you. There are people that, I have a friend when we were growing up. He was very good at hacking into, different databases and all that. He was very good at it as well. And that was a very bad thing anyway, because it's not good to hack. But because this guy was so good, he was so good such that somebody in the banking sector got to know about him and took him up to Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola recommended him to Google. He's now in America. He's now into cybersecurity. Because he was good at that thing, but he diverted the energy into something positive. Another one I want to talk about is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is quite key, especially for us youth. Emotional intelligence, being able to know what to say, what not to say, when you're among people, how you collaborate with people of other races, how you are able to influence people. Are you only able to talk to people that look like you or that come from the same place like you? Are you able to do business only with people that are from your own religion, that doesn't cut across the divide? It takes emotional intelligence to be able to cross the divide, to be able to have a decent conversation with people of the opposite sex without actually insinuating any other thing. There's so many things that link to emotional intelligence, which I want us to take down, and we can read a lot more about it online. Because like I said, when we come, the problem with this age is not the information, it's being able to sort the information to make sense in your life. Let's move on from there. As young people, as we progress, one of the things that I feel that can help us a lot is volunteering. So many people have gotten jobs through volunteer. And one of the ways, if you notice that I mentioned that there's some soft skills that you can develop that will make you very valuable to employers of labor, or make you acquire skills that you can use for yourself. One of the areas where you can gain those skills is by volunteering. Because usually if you are young and you look at the job, look at Indeed or look at all those LinkedIn, you find out that most of the top jobs always require experience. And if nobody will take you because you don't have experience, how do you get in? You look for volunteer opportunities. They might not pay you, it might just be for 3 months, it might just be for 6 months. It's a sacrifice, but you are learning something. But at the end of the day, if you do a volunteer job at, for instance, let's say Google or MySpace, whatever you do it, and you learn the skills and you put it on your CV, by the time you are done with school and they see that you've done this volunteer work, because of that volunteer work that you did alone, you see that it will open doors for you, because it won't happen overnight. Those are little ways that we can use, to be able to equip ourselves as we are growing up. And one thing we should learn to do as we're growing up is to ask questions. Don't assume that you know everything. As young as you are and as much information as you have at the palms of your hand through your electronic gadgets, always ask questions if you don't understand anything. Let's drop our ego. As young as we are, we don't. I mean, we have short attention span. We always want to like, okay, oh, this is Don't let the short attention span be something that would hold you or drag you down in your life. Try and ask questions. Listen. Be gentle. You have time. The time that you have, use it to advantage right now, because this time will pass and go. So in the next 10 years, 20 years, you will define the adult you will become. It doesn't happen by magic. Like I said, time is a resource. Make sure that you spend it wisely. And this is the time the time I'm speaking to you right now. Are you picking one or two things up? At least when you go home, maybe one or two things. Oh, this guy was saying all this. I mean, I think I picked one or two things up. Ruminate on it, find out more about it. Teamwork. Teamwork is quite key for us as we're growing up. Like I said before, you don't have to, for you to succeed in life, you will come across people of different races, different backgrounds, different ethnic groups, different religious belief, different sexual orientation. Teamwork. In today's global world, if you cannot team up to work with people that don't look like you, that don't talk like you, that don't think like you, you won't be a global player. You won't be where you want to be or where you ought to be, because for instance, now we are all in Canada. This is international already. The kind of people that you and I are meeting are from everywhere. They're from Brazil, they're from Japan, so you need to be able to, cross that barrier and talk to people that don't look like you, don't think like you, and not from where you are, and not even from the same religion you are. So we have to be able to develop that ability to be able to work with people of all races. One of the things that also distinguishes us is being able to, okay, it's not displaying yet. Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. Readers are leaders. Not necessarily all leaders are readers, but you need to read to advance to the next stage. Reading is not obsolete, whether on your iPad or your phone. There's what we call macro and micro learning. Now, when you go to school, you go to institutions, you go to universities, macro learning, you learn the technical skills. Oh, I want to be a software developer. I want to be a guru in IT. I want to do business. I want to do an MBA. Those are micro learning. But for micro, MI, are things that you pick up, short courses, Coursera, those little things. What does this mean? What does this do? What does this add to me? Now, when you are young, don't worry about your mind wandering here and there. Oh, I think I want to do this. I don't know. Let me talk to my dad. I don't know if this is what I want to do. Oh, everybody is running here. Don't mind what your mind is wandering into. Pick one thing and do it. That's what the Bible says. Do it diligently and put all your heart into it. Because even if it's not the thing, it will be the thing that will lead to the thing. And that's one thing I will tell you for a fact. Even if it's not the thing, if you have a first class in mathematics, for instance, you might end up in Google or end up in Facebook or end up in any other very big company because you have a first class. It leads to that because you poured yourself wholeheartedly into mathematics and you came out excelling. Nobody will see result that, oh, what does this tell me? This person is first class student. Oh, okay. He or she has poured herself into this course. That means that if we employ her, he or she will pour herself into the area of jurisdiction we put her in. And that's one thing youth of nowadays don't do. We don't pour ourselves into what we want to do. We don't have to do everything. Pick one thing that interests you, pour yourself out, distinguish yourself in it, and then it will lead to the thing. The next one I want to tell you is that one will display now. Never let your emotions overpower your intelligence. While we are young, we are about to be swayed by emotions. Emotions from the opposite sex, from the mass media, from peer pressure. Those are emotions that will come from the number of likes you get on your Instagram, Facebook, the social media. Never let your emotions overpower your intelligence. Even if it sways you, think that, okay, let me think. Let me think first. Even if you feels like, oh, this is what I feel like. But let me take my time. That's why when you want to make important, crucial decisions in your life, even if you feel like that thing, let me buy, just hold on that decision. If you feel about it the same way the next day, the next 1 week, then you find out that as you hold on to that decision, it makes you more mature that, oh, you are able to think through that if I do this, this is what it will lead to. You are able to sort out all the pros and cons and make a decision. And that is what leads to maturity. That means you are growing up. There's some people that are so young, they know how to make matured decisions. And people respect them for that. When you see them at work, their guys will go to them that, oh, Kemi, what do you think about this? Let Kemi look at it. Even Kemi might be 10 or 20 years younger than your guy because they respect the way Kemi thinks. But there's some adults that they would even think without even emotions. They would just, okay, it's good, let's just do it. Without thinking. You know, at the age you are in, this is the stage that you are supposed to be thinking and making very good decisions for your life because they will impact you 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. Another one that we do to ourselves when we're young, you know, which I used to do to myself then, stop negative self-talk. The fact that as you are young, you're going to be failing. You're going to fail in so many things. You're going to fail in friendship, in relationship. You're going to fail in so many things, in your academic work. But one thing that you should never do is never give up. Stop negative self-talk about yourself. It's very important. And that's why you can find solace in the Bible. If you're a Christian and you do read the Bible, you know, it will, you know, edify you. You know that nobody can put you down. Even if your friends don't like you on Facebook or on Instagram, it doesn't mean that your world is destroyed. You know, it means that you are making your world so small that it's only those group of people that make you happy or unhappy, which is a very bad thing for us. Let me move faster. So I've talked about the fact that you need to self-reflect before making a decision. That's the next stage. And of course, one of the other things that we need to develop, you know, I hope this thing will be able to show. I want people to put down something. Okay. Core values. Core values we need to develop as we grow, as we mature, before we start working in the workplaces. Appreciation, honesty, safety, ownership, you know, diligence, optimism, you know, efficiency, risk-taking. I'll put risk-taking because risk-taking leads to success. Calculated risk-taking. You know, it's a risk to come to Canada now. If you, let me go and study in Canada. What if you study and you don't even get a job and nothing happens? But you know, it's a calculated risk that it will give you exposure. You know, the exposure that it will give you will become, you either become self-empowered to own a business later or more empowered to become valuable to employers in the future. I hope this thing shows you, but I can always, yeah. He's working on it. Okay. Now, another area I want to quickly touch on before I finish is peer pressure. Now, this is a very, very big topic for us youths that are growing up. Even up until adult stage, it still affects us. Peer pressure. Peer pressure is all over the place. Now, it's even worse now on social media. Peer pressure. You put out your picture, nobody likes it. Or you put out your picture, somebody makes a bad comment. It spoils your day. Don't let that determine who you become or who you are. You know, before this thing came into being, there were people that are living through those generations and making success, basically. Don't you know right now that they are, you know, all over the world, it's a big problem. You know, youths are killing themselves because somebody is not liking them on Facebook or somebody is disliking them or somebody, you know, says something negative to them when they put up their picture. You know, or somebody will eventually have low self-esteem because people did not like them on social media. Don't let the social media, you know, deter you from your success and your future. Stop looking at those pages all the time. Trivialize it. It's important to get information. Yeah, I know that because I do look at it to get information sometimes. But what you need to do is to trivialize is that, oh, this is because when you look at the social media, one thing you all agree with me is that when people are trying to put pictures or put everything, we all put the best self of ourselves. We all go and take a picture, maybe probably go and put it, you know, Photoshop it or put some things on there and put the best self forward. It's all vague. Nobody will wake up in the night and put his picture the way he is or sleeping and then, you know, for people to see it. We all want to dress up and look good, which shows one thing. It's all vague. So we should trivialize social media. I'm not saying you shouldn't go on social media, but don't let it be an in thing. Don't let it be a big deal. Because if you make it a big deal, it can make or mar your self-confidence and you won't be able to do much in life. Yeah, that was what I was talking about, social media depression. You know, in psychology right now, and in the latest research, is a new kind of depression, social media depression. So let me give you an example. It's even more like a problem right now, because our youths already have short attention span. You find out that if you go to a group of youths meeting, even adults, some people cannot do 2 seconds without looking at the phone. It's as if there's something wrong with them. There was an experiment that was carried out. They took some people's phone away for like a day or two. They almost ran mad. Why? Because they couldn't see their phones. We shouldn't let our life depend on that. You know, how can you be checking your phone every 2 minutes? Hey, somebody pinged me. Let me check it on 2 minutes. No, your life is more valuable than whoever is pinging you. So you need to have your downtime to think, to be able to become who you are. Don't let it be the reflection of the likes that your value is not coming from the likes on your pages, social media pages. You should know that. The Bible says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. If you can keep that word, ruminate on it every time as you grow up, it will guard you against all these things that are coming from out there. You know, you need them, but you need to fish out your information strategically. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. The Bible will teach you to affect you. And that's what I will tell you, so they can take away that, today. Okay. I think it's coming up right now. I think I have the last slide. My slide has stopped. Okay. Creativity. What is creativity? Creativity is being able to have time to be able to think about how, if you look at how the advanced world, the likes of Canada, the UK, Australia, how are they advancing? They look at the processes that are already in place and look at it and say, okay, oh, this thing has been like this. How can we improve it? Okay, we're having this seminar now. How can we make this seminar better next year? That's what they do. And they keep improving it every year. And it's not rocket science. If you can sit down and think about, oh, somebody is doing this thing like this. If I can improve it a little bit. And that's all might be what you need to become the next entrepreneur or the next Mark Zuckerberg, to advance in your life. I think the last slides are coming up. Yeah. The slides are not coming up again. Should I share it again? Okay. Anyway, it's just the last slide. Don't worry about that. Anyway, the last slide says, be the change that you want to see in the world. When you wake up every morning and you look at the mirror, you're dressing up and everything, one thing that we all should realize is that we should be the change that we want to see. If you and I are changing, then the world will change. If you and I are nicer, then the world becomes nicer. If you and I are godly, then the world becomes godly. We don't have to wait for our governments to do things better anywhere in Nigeria, in Canada, or the government will always be, in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, people will always complain about the government. But what you can change is yourself. What you can change is how you think. What you can change is the information you put into yourself, how you reflect life. Thank you.